Hey everybody, how's it going? Randy here with Nerds Templar, and this is the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate AI League. It is the Blue Division Playoffs, both round 1 and 2, and that is it for the divisional playoffs for the Blue there. We've done the red and the green already. All we have left after this is the Yellow Division, and then it is time for the League Playoffs. 2 days of that, Friday and Saturday, and we will be done with this season. First round of that will be the just like the general league playoffs, which is 8 rounds, 8 matches, that is, 1 round. And that'll, of course, narrow us down to the final 8 fighters. And that'll be the quarter, semi, and finally the finals there, with a couple extra matches, perhaps. We shall see. After 21 sets, what we got here in the blue, we got Ganondorf 16-4, Sora 15-5, along with Steve and Banjo and Kazooie, 14-6 Snake and Captain Falcon, and then 12-8 Roy and Cloud round out the top 8. The move in middle, Ness 11-9, along with Meta Knight at 11-9, Wario, Inkling, Palutena, and Pac-Man all 9-11. Pac-Man's gonna miss the playoffs there though. Palutena's the last one making it in. And then we got Falco 8-12, rounding out that move in middle. Lucas doesn't make it in there. He's in the stay in 6 in the bottom, 8-12. Then 6-14 Fox along with Rob, Pichu 4-16, Ken 3-17 along with Rosaline and Luma. We won't be seeing them, of course, Pac-Man and down. So that's that. Today, 5 rounds to begin things before we go into our second round. 5 matches again before we go into our second round of 4 matches. 3 buys, Ganondorf, Sora, and Steve. We'll see them in that second round. But first, we've got Banjo taking on Palutena, Snake versus Inkling, Captain Falcon taking on Wario, Roy against Meta Knight, and finally Cloud versus Ness. And that'll be starting things off with the 4 versus the 13, and then working our way closer and closer in standings and record, until finally reaching the 12-8 Cloud versus the 11-9 Ness. Let us begin. See what happens in the blue here. 4 fighters will remain when we're done. Alright, again, starting things off, Banjo and Kazooie 15-5, the highest record, the only 15-5 that didn't get a bye here, and so should have a slight advantage. We'll see. We'll see. Has the win over Palutena in the head-to-head. Only one of our favorites not getting that head-to-head victory in the regular season, and that's Roy over Meta Knight. Meta Knight actually had that one. In fact, was very close to getting that top 8 over Roy, depending on what had happened last set. Palutena, though, speaking of what happened last set, I guess, yeah, she pretty much did make it in. Just last set, she was in fact out of the moving middle, and so I'd say flaunting her new yellow skin, and that's true, her new secondary skin for the Yellow Division. However, she doesn't actually have any yellow skins. This is the best we can do, is just the black one. However, I am noticing that I think it's black with like gold or yellow trim, so that works, right? So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing here. The underdogs, all 9, ranked 9 to 13, are going to be moving on next season, and so we're going to be using their new secondary skins, which in this case are going to be yellow. And the favorites on the left side there are all in the rank 4 to 8. And so they're all in the top 8, staying here into next season. So they're going to just wear their traditional secondary garb as usual. Banjo here, blue Banjo with red Kazooie. Palutena pulls a poison mushroom. She has a very tiny lead, but she is very tiny, and she's actually still on the stage somehow after Banjo and Kazooie get a super mushroom and hit her. Still not enough though, somehow. 119 to 103 here. They did bring him back. They're poisoned now, however. Palutena, though, yeah, she fought really hard pretty much the entire season to get into the playoffs here, so kudos to her, even just to make it in the first place. Again, one of the 9 and 11s not even making it. That Pac-Man there, who also won. I believe won last set. I might be wrong about that. No, yeah, he won last set to give himself a good chance, but alas, he did not make it. Same with the Lucas that he beat. going down to 8 and 12, and him falling out of the moving middle there. Your buddy Ness, number 9, is going to be moving on to the yellow. See him later. Right now, all tied up still. Palutena doing great damage on the second stock, though. They're both knocked out once. Oh, Banjo grabs that poison mushroom, though. He's already at 68. That could be bad for the blue bear. Right for now. 45 on Palutena. He's doing a little bit of damage back, but another poison mushroom, and down he goes, 80-some%, and he's on one stock. 61 for Palutena, looking for a massive upset. Again, the biggest difference between record and standings here. The 15 and 5 versus the 9 and 11. One of the 3 9 and 11, but the only 15 and 5. Is he going to get the knockout here? I believe so. Yes, Banjo is going to tie it all up 0%, one stock each. Just by getting Palutena a little too far from the stage. She's not going to be able to return, even with a pretty good up B there with that Zelda-like teleport. Not going to do it. Not going to do it that time. Banjo gives himself another shot, but he keeps pulling poison mushrooms. And while it's not as insane of a season as when we had Pokeballs raining from the sky, it is yet pretty crazy because the mushrooms, man, they can ruin your match. And in Banjo's case here, probably ruin his season. Palutena had a super mushroom there, gave her complete control of the stage. Banjo back, though, 94-45. Palutena, another super mushroom. Is that going to do it? For the underdoggiest of underdogs. It just might. 104 on Banjo and Kazooie. Oh, doesn't get the knockout yet. 59 on Palutena. A poison mushroom on Banjo, though. Yes, that is going to do it. And that is... man, that is ridiculous. I think he had the disadvantage, mushroom disadvantage, about 95% of the time, if not worse. And because of that, down goes Banjo and Kazooie. And again, as we mentioned, it won't be like this every season. Every season is going to be different. Next season is going to be even more crazy than this, giving fighters like Palutena an even better chance of doing things like this. But after that, after season 2, when we hit season 3, that's going to be a little more standard than even this season is. We might even skip items altogether and just do a slightly more interesting map than the one we're using here. But nonetheless, Banjo and Kazooie are done just like that. And they were kind of the ones that we were really sure about. 15 and 5, great record overall, and to finish off the regular season. But those 5 losses were strange ones, I thought. And so, yeah, not completely surprising that maybe losing here to a random person like Palutena, who's now going to move on and going to be going up, and we're going to know this the entire time because the way we're fighting these round 1s, we're always going to know either the next top record fighter, top ranked fighter, or the most bottom ranked fighter, meaning that we know now Palutena being the bottommost fighter in rank is going to be up against the number 1 in round 2 here, Ganondorf. So it's going to be Ganondorf taking on Palutena. Yikes. But hey, good job, Palutena. You made it that far at least, and maybe even farther. Who knows? All right, here we go. Is it going to happen again? Snake 14 and 6 now. 2 14 and 6s, Snake and Captain Falcon. Snake 2 and 18 in the Green Division last season. Just to remind you. 2 and 18. The only reason he's here now, the reason he was able to move on and wasn't, in this case, if he did that this season, he would just be stuck in the green, bottom 6. But last season, in the Season 0 promo, we moved the entire bottom half of the divisions because there were only, there weren't that many fighters. There were like 11 or whatever. So, yeah, a whole different scenario there. And so the bad fighters were able to move on coming into this season. Maybe gave a lot of them a lot more hope than they would have had. And it is unfortunate for those. Some of them are going to just be stuck in a different division now. Some, like Snake, may not be necessarily stuck in a different division, but staying anyway because he's doing amazing. Almost making that top 3 even. Had a great change. He was number 2 the last 2 sets for the very last set, set 19 and 20. After both of those, he was actually number 2. And all he needed to do really was win. And he would have been fine. In fact, I take it back. He did win. No, yeah, he lost. Never mind. I do take it back. He lost. Take it back again. And Inkling here, yeah, again, fighting, struggling, but also fighting like everybody else at 9-11 to stay in the playoffs. Falling down actually out of the top 8, was in the top 8 for a bit toward the middle of the season and onward until after maybe like the last third or the last quarter of the season starting to fall behind a little bit, but just won just enough to stay in. In fact, had the very last bye of the season, so didn't play set 21, and so just had to sit there at 9-11 and hope. But everything worked out for them, at least for now, and they are 2-2 stock at the moment. But 117, again, sporting the new yellow secondary skin. Only one yellow skin, so we'll have to make do with another different tertiary. Maybe we'll see it in round 2 if Inkling can move on, but it's not going to be easy. 146 knockout by supersized Snake. 45 on his second. Can Inkling do anything there? Again, mushrooms could help. But if you don't, if you're an underdog and you don't get enough mushroom advantage, then it's going to be a lot harder, obviously. I do believe that's a big reason Palutena won that last match. But hey, she could do it again. Who knows? She might have to against Ganondorf. Everyone pretty much has to against Ganondorf. Because if you don't get the advantage, then he probably did. And if it's even, then he still has the advantage. Inkling able to knock Snake out here at 17-66 now. It's in fact more manageable than it was before. Inkling, nice dodge of both of those rockets by just hanging on the ledge a moment longer. Oh man, but those projectiles, those explosives of Snake, can't dodge them all. Not this time, and Snake is going to win. Inkling bringing it a little closer than it could have been. But Snake, the number 5, he's going on. And yeah, that also means he's the top seed moving on. So he doesn't have to face either Sora or Steve. Again, Palutena has Ganondorf. He doesn't have to worry about Sora or Steve. He has whoever the next top seed is. If it's Captain Falcon or whoever, it's either going to be Captain Falcon, Roy, Cloud, or Ness. We still really don't know for that one. But yeah, Snake, you can, again, as we've said in the past, think of him as the new 4th bye, because that's kind of what it is. With 4 matches to come, he's the new 4th favorite of the 4 of them. Because there's one match, right? Ganon versus somebody, Sora versus somebody, Steve versus somebody, and then the top 2 winners from this, someone versus someone. That first someone is Snake. And believe it or not, Wario has a yellow skin. So we're gonna get to see some OG Wario here. I love that skin. It's so good. I prefer to just use that one all the time as his original. When I play him, that's what I do. But anyway, Captain Falcon, the other 12 and 8. I'm sorry, the other 14 and 6. That is, 2 12 and 8s are left to come for the favorites. But he's the 14 and 6 along with Snake. And again, he made it to the final match last season. He was he was number 1 for a long time in the blue here. Ended up number 2 just behind a couple matches behind Ness. But he did manage to get the whole way. He had the bye, 2 buys for every division last season. He had the second bye in the blue. He managed to make it the whole way to the final match. I'm not going to tell you who won that match. It was him and King DDD. It was a great one, I'll say that. But we're tied up here. Can Captain Falcon return to the final match this season, when every fighter is in it? Is more competition for sure here in the blue. Wario was doing so much better earlier in the season. It looked like this was just like Ganondorf. This was going to be his new favorite home. Ganondorf managed to stay at the very top. Wario managed to stay in the playoffs, but he fell the whole way down into the middle of the pack. And again, just hanging on with that 9-11 record, like Inkling. Palutena made her way up with the 9-11 record. Wario and Inkling, they were just hanging on, as they should have been I mean, if they just kept their winning ways going, they would have been, they should have just been solid in the playoffs without having to worry about it. 9-11, not great. Wario was 11-9 last season in the green. Oh, slightly surprising to see him go down, I guess. And Snake, 14-6. I mean, I'm sorry, Captain Falcon, 14-6. Same thing, still 14-6. Not the same thing though, because Snake was from the green and was 2-18, and just that was an insane comeback this season for him. 2-18 to 14-6. But Captain Falcon, 14-6, did gain one better. So he was 13-7. Now he's 14-6. Good job, Captain Falcon. And now we're still all tied up here, 77-69, 2 stock. Both of these guys want it bad. Wario making the playoffs last season as well, but he lost to Falco, who he got some retribution this season. Now both of them in the blue. Falco not making it into the playoffs, just barely missing the playoffs. In fact, he had one of the better chances, but he didn't make it. Wario got the last lap there, but oh man, I can't believe he made it back there to the stage. 95 of 128. He's still on after the Super Mushroom from Captain Falcon. Nope, Falcon Punch does it that time though. 102 on the Captain though. See if Wario can return the favor. Perhaps hand us another upset. Just maybe. And again, just like Snake, just like Banjo, Captain Falcon, the favorite here, also won the head-to-head in the regular season. Wario, I think, healing a little bit back as he also gets the knockout there. Very nicely done. 27 only on him, 37 make that. Captain Falcon, the Super Mushroom. Watch out, Wario. 2 hits away from knockout. And your playoff hopes being dashed again in the first round. Against a much tougher competitor, I would say, than last season against Falco. Yeah, Captain Falcon, he wants to go the whole way again. There's no other option, you know. You've been there. Yeah, there it is. Nicely done, Captain Falcon. I guess good try, Wario. He got him 21% on his last stock. That's sort of close, but Captain Falcon taking that one. No big deal. And yeah, once you get to the final, there's really, you feel like you gotta make it there every season, right? But with everybody in it this time, maybe he'll settle for, you know, just managing semifinals with double the fighters, twice the fighters now. But he's gonna move on this time. Wario goes down, another favorite goes on, and that is gonna be then Snake versus Captain Falcon in that second round. So we're going to see those 14-6s up against each other. Captain Falcon, again, who did well last season in the blue, and Snake, who did really, really badly last season in the green. Who will win? We shall see later. And this one does sort of seem like a nice fitting playoff round 1 match here. Roy against Meta Knight. Roy getting in that top 8 because he was able to win, and Meta Knight lost. But I'm sorry, actually, he lost and Meta Knight lost. So Meta Knight losing allowed him to get in. But him losing and Meta Knight winning would have put Meta Knight into the top 8. Didn't happen. Meta Knight a chance though, because he would have got the top 8 because he had the tiebreaker in the head-to-head against Roy. And so here he's got a chance to maybe not make the top 8. As you can see, he now has to wear this ridiculous yellow and pink skin. And let's see if he can pay Roy back for making him have to wear this for now an entire season in the yellow division. That's hilarious. The other ones, his other one's going to be a little better. It's the white skin he's got. It's like also a tad yellow. It's probably his best tertiary skin. But this one it's hard to tell because from behind and everything, it seems like it's very pink, which it is. But there is a bit more yellow on it than it seems this one he's using here. He does get the first knockout. Roy does. 104 on him. Meta Knight comes back and just does not stop. He's just been attacking this entire time. Now gets the return knockout. 29 on him and a poison mushroom. Super mushroom back to normal size for him. Close, you can see like his sword, the gauntlets, yeah, the cape a little bit. back and inside and outside, that is. Poor Meta Knight. Wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't this skin that he had to wear. But yeah, Roy ended up 12-8. 11-9 Meta Knight. This is where things change. We had all 9 and 11s up to this point in that underdog spot. And before now, we had 15-5 Banjo and then 2 14-6s in the favorite spot. So now it's drastically different here. Only 1 match difference between these two and the next 2 fighters. And really, 11-9 is a fantastic record, but a tough division. This is the toughest one to make that top 8. You needed 12-8, and that just barely made it for you. Meaning, yeah, 11-9 Ness and Meta Knight are moving on, and the yellow division's like, we got enough problems. We have Incineroar here. Will you please not send over anybody like Ness and Meta Knight and Wario, who managed to mess everything up in this season? In fact, Inkling, Palutena, and Pac-Man aren't the funnest fighters to fight against either, so oh man. Yeah, Yellow is not going to be happy about that. Yellow losing Ike, though, that's something for them. And Richter. Game & Watch, Joker, Climber, Samus, Pikachu. Those top 2 going down, though, that's at least a little bit of a silver lining for the Yellow division. But here we have 52-60. It's all tied up as you would expect it to be. Roy with the Super Mushroom, that could end it right there, and it does. Beautiful attack. Meta Knight, you don't go jumping around above the supersized opponent, because that happens. That exact thing happens. And now Meta Knight is out just like that. And by the way, we talked about Snake and how he went 2-18 to 14-6 that is, this season. Well, Meta Knight was just 1 game better than that, 3-17, and he went to 11-9 this season. So I mean, that is very commendable itself for sure. Again, not quite good enough. He almost made that top 8, which would have been amazing, but not quite there either way. Still good, and maybe he'll enjoy being in the, other than having to wear that skin, maybe he'll enjoy being the yellow a little more than the blue. I would imagine that's the case. Green and blue do still seem to be the 2 toughest divisions at the moment until we start shifting things around. But yeah, Meta Knight's moving on. Roy, sorry buddy, you're out. That means Meta Knight is up against Sora next match, and now we have 1 last match in the first round. Cloud taking on Ness to decide who takes on Steve next round, and of course we're going to see those matches right after these. And we get our first look at Ness's new secondary skin, the Bumblebee. Got Bumblebee Ness now. That's, again, a little bit of a silver lining, a little consolation for Ness now no longer being in the blue division. His OG blue, where he was number 1 last season, now dropping to number 9, 11-9. He was so close. But the 12-8 Cloud, one of the ones making sure it doesn't happen. And oh man, Ness, what a beautiful play. Knocking Cloud underneath the stage, and really, I mean, he probably had an extra jump left. If he jumped to the side first and then used his up B, maybe he wouldn't have done that, knocking his head off the bottom of the stage. But it is going to give Ness a really nice lead. However, the Super Mushroom on Cloud, 64 on Ness's first, would have maybe been enough if he could land a clean hit, but he doesn't. 71 on Ness, 26 on Cloud's second. Ness. What? Very nice job there. Again, he had the bye, first place last season. Started off with the bye. Came back to lose to Pikachu. So he is still looking for his first playoff win ever, even though he was first place in the blue last season. That kind of was one of the reasons he didn't get a win, because he didn't need to win in the first round, and then lost in the second round to a Pikachu that was on fire at that point, already getting 1 upset victory. And Cloud getting the knockout with the Super Mushroom, but is it too late for him already? At 127 now after some big hits, 3 big hits. Oh wow, that PK Fire was ridiculous. Cloud's now at 159, 168, goodbye. Ness just destroyed him right there, and now he has an entire stock advantage, 0 to 20, at least. Now Cloud getting a nice shot in himself after returning, getting the super mushroom after returning. 43 on Ness. Wait a moment, if he can get like 2 big hits. Cloud, 1 big hit almost launches him. Not quite enough. Now will 1 more. He doesn't get 1 more, but it probably would have done it. And now 1 more without the super mushroom that he just grabbed would have done it. 93 on Ness. He can bring it back Cloud in a moment here. Even without the super mushroom, 1 more hit like he's been doing. But Ness, a nice attack there. But the poison mushroom afterward, 43 on Cloud. If he takes any more damage, he's going to be in big trouble. 118 knockout on Ness, though. Cloud, super mushroom afterward. Can he bring it back to even? What a match between these two. He does bring it back to even with that attack, 43-31. It's anybody's game. He dodges the poison mushroom. Ness grabs it, 31%. Cloud is charging up that limit bar. Almost did it the whole way, not quite. Look out, Ness, back to normal size. He's able to just avoid everything because Cloud didn't try to attack. 52-47. Limit bar gone from Cloud, though. He used it. 52-56, 68-56. Ness, super mushroom. Cloud cannot make it back to the stage, and it will end just like that. He tried, maybe waited too long. Did he even use his up B? I do not know. Ness, with those yellow shoes and white socks, is going to move on. Wow. So, of course, that was our least upsettable match. Actually, it's kind of close because Cloud, again, did have that head-to-head against Ness already. The head-to-head victory in the regular season. So maybe Meta Knight defeating Roy makes that the least upsettable one, because just because Meta Knight was able to do it once against Roy already. So I don't know. That's also going to be then Ness, good win, moving on against Steve then in the next round. And let's take a look at what happened this round. Take a quick peek before we move on to that second round and those last 4 matchups. And by the way, yes, I am aware that Roy did win that match against Meta Knight. I don't know why I was speaking as though Meta Knight did. Roy obviously was the winner there, but I did then mess up. Yeah, the matchups coming up is going to be Steve against Roy then, because Roy was the higher record, of course. Ness is going to have Sora. And so just to keep it the same as all the other sets we did so far, we're going to start with the closest in record and move our way to the farthest away. So number 1 Ganondorf will be last. First, then we have Snake taking on Captain Falcon, which is again our 14-6 matchup there. Snake defeated Captain Falcon in their head-to-head. After that, we got Steve versus Roy, 15-5, taking on the 12-8 Roy. And Roy actually won that one pretty early on in the season. Then we got Sora, 15-5, versus Ness. And Ness, again, 11-9. Ness won that one, and so that will also be you never want to really play Ness, right? He was number 1 last season. You never know what he's capable of. Finally, though, we then have the number 1 16-4 Ganondorf against the 9-11 Palutena. Can she do it? We'll just have to see. Let's find out who the 4 are moving on in the blue, and afterward we'll take a look at where they fall within the league standings with the other 4, well, the 8. The 4 from the red, the 4 from the green that we have. So there will be a few spoilers afterward, but we'll talk about some of this stuff before we get into that. All right, here we go. Snake and Captain Falcon, 14-6 both great seasons. Whoever loses, either way, good job. You even won 1 playoff match, right? Again, these are, the 2 that didn't have buys. Top 2 ranks coming out because Banjo and Kazooie lost. Supersize Captain Falcon. Maybe bring him back percent-wise here. Maybe. Certainly doesn't guarantee that for you at all. More so gives you the advantage with a big knockout, and also not being able to get knocked out yourself. And now Snake's got it. Sometimes it gives you a disadvantage just like that. Snake falling like a rock with the Super Mushroom. And that's advantage Captain Falcon all of a sudden, 87% on his first. Either way, 14-6, very strong record going into the league playoffs will probably get you a pretty good spot. Okay, there aren't that many 14-6s altogether in all the divisions. So probably top half again, 16 altogether. Top 8 will be like the favorite on the left side. Again, doesn't necessarily mean anything once you get into the whole league-wide playoffs. Captain Falcon gets another almost instant knockout on Snake. Wow, incredible. Huge, huge lead now for Captain Falcon. Out of nowhere. Who lost to Snake, mind you. Snake has the head-to-head here. Get that. Wow, he blocked that. Captain Falcon blocking that missile. Keeps him on the stage. 49 on Snake's last stock. Is he gonna? No. He's got the Super Mushroom. 131 on Captain Falcon. Needs the knockout or yeah, Captain Falcon's looking for a flawless victory. He caught the bomb. Doesn't get blown up. That's useful. Snake Super Mushroom again. Can he get the knockout? 72 on him now. 81. If he goes back to normal size, okay, he does get that missile to hit. Finally. But 81 on his last stock. It's pretty much, oh, Captain Falcon just pulled a poison mushroom. Is he trying to give Snake a chance here? Almost lands that up or down B missile, I guess is what that it would be, down B. Not quite though. 96. 38 on Captain Falcon second. One big hit away, 106 on Snake. Snake doing everything he can, 115 now. And he's just gonna end it. He's just gonna end it. Falls too far, goes under the stage, then does his up B, and just helicopters himself into the bottom. So great job there, Snake. But even better job to Captain Falcon, because I do know who won this one for sure. It's Captain Falcon. Moving on to the league playoffs. Well done, Captain. 2 rounds, 2 wins, and he's going to move on to see if he can reclaim a spot in the final round. Or at least, again, make it to the semifinals, get the top 4 in the entire league. That wouldn't be too bad, right? That's a pretty commendable accolade to have, but he's going to have a chance at it. Snake no longer does. But again, 2-18 last season. To go from that to 4-16 plus a playoff win, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Next match. All right, last match where the underdog is from this going to be in this division next season, that is. It's the Alex/Steve versus Roy. Steve not even represented after getting his bye in number 3 here, 15-5. 12-8 Roy. Close right now. Is it Steve/Alex/Zombie? Pretty tough competitor. Obviously, with the record, the record shows. But yeah, you just gotta watch to understand, I guess, how it happened. They actually started off not the greatest, if I recall. I mean, it didn't take too long to recover, but I feel like it was what were they? 0-2. Oh, they had a bye after going 0-2, then a bye. And they won 1-2, 1-3. It's like 1-3 was maybe the worst they did before going 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, and 5-3 and up. And eventually again dropped to 15-5, but still pretty amazing. Just a bit of a slow start is all. Actually, one of those losses in the beginning was to this particular fighter named Roy. And okay, Steve is going to get the tying knockout. Roy's trying to do the same thing he did earlier in the season against him here. Magma blocks are going to miss because of the Super Mushroom, maybe, perhaps. He's just too big, and Roy was underneath it. It worked out. Roy remains with about a 50% advantage. It's not a bad advantage to have. It's about all the minimum you can call an advantage, I would say. Super Mushroom falls to him. Roy. Minecraft Alex. Oh, Poison Mushroom to Roy now. Back to normal size. 70 to 64. Alex has tied it up. This one would be a slightly bigger upset. Of course, now we're dealing with two 15-5s and a 16-4 in the favorite spots. Much better than the ones from last set, or last round, that is. Guys like Roy. At 12 and 8. He's knocked out there. 92 on Alex. Has the advantage now. Has the lead. Steals it away from Roy. Can he finish it though? Poison Mushroom. Perhaps Roy will tie it back up. He will. 8%. He's given himself a shot at this one still. And a Super Mushroom to begin things here. One stock left each. A nice attack by Roy. Oh man, that could have been some damage there if that would have connected. Alex brings the sword out to try to combat Roy's. 67 to 15 right now. Roy a nice lead, but the Poison Mushroom now. What can Alex do with it? The Magma Block misses again. Magma Block has ended a lot of matches in the past. Super Mushroom right as Roy turns back to normal size. He's big now. 87 on Alex. Is that going to do it? Did he launch him far enough? No. No. Not when you can fly, but he's just going to come back like, he's just like a treat on the side of the stage for Roy there. And just like that, slaps him back away, and Roy just picked up another victory. And really, okay, that one is interesting. So he won against Meta Knight, where he was the favorite, but Meta Knight had actually beaten him in the past. So that was kind of like a nice win for him there. This time around, he beat Steve in the past, Steve/Alex. But he was obviously a much lower record, 3 matches lower, in fact. So a nice upset victory for Roy there. Wow. Snake and Captain Falcon, really no upset either way for them because of the same record, I would say, even though Captain Falcon didn't have the head-to-head victory, Snake did. So kind of tying that one up. But still, this one, fantastic, fantastic match. Good job, Roy. Good job, Steve. Again, all season, amazing. It's tough when you, just like Ness did last season, it's tough when you have the bye and then you come in and you lose your first match of the playoffs after your bye. It's really rough, but hey, it happens. So they'll have a chance to bounce back. The Minecraft squad, they'll have a chance to bounce back next season, staying in the blue, of course, where they quite dominated. 15-5 is an incredible record. That was the second best record last season, what Ness had. I think it's tied now for like 4th best or something, maybe 5th. Still amazing though. It has to be 4th best because there's no 1 loss or 0 loss record ever. Anyway, next match. Speaking of Ness, here we go. Can he do it again? Picked up the victory over Cloud. There's only 1 win better than him. Sora is 4 wins better. 15-5, number 2. Again, obviously a great season, but can you beat the number 1 from last season? Again, always a tough opponent. Sora has the head-to-head victory. I'm sorry, I take it back. Ness has this head-to-head victory, as we mentioned. So Sora needs... he just reset Ness's PK Thunder. He's going to get back to the stage with that one. He is going to get back to the stage indeed. Wow, Sora just cost himself a knockout there. That is very unfortunate. Again, after just saying he needs to be a little cautious here, on his toes, with this guy who beat him already. Sora, incredible recovery, so usually don't have to worry about him falling off the side, but it does happen. Mostly because the AI is just a goofball sometimes. For all characters, I'm curious which AI you guys think is the worst, and which AI you think is the best, because they are different, it seems. Obviously, each character's AI is built around that character, obviously, so in some ways. So yeah, let me know which ones you think are done well, which ones you think are done horribly. Just to know we have a decent bit of data now on all of them, I'd say. And more to come next season. Sora gets knocked out. 133 on Ness, though, as Super Mushroom on Sora should be able to not going to get the tie because Ness stops him for a moment, but this Poison Mushroom on Ness, the advantage of size remained with Sora for a moment here. Frozen Ness for a moment. 140 on him. Sora one hit away. Still nothing. Super Mushroom, though. 140. Cannot get him, though. Another nice shield from Ness. Can save him, but not safe from the Thundaga. As Sora pretty much ties it up and then grabs a Poison Mushroom, giving Ness a slight advantage. Super Mushroom to Sora, though. It's back to normal. 25, 36 now on him. Ness continues the attack. Only 11, 16 now on Ness. 48 on Sora, 59 now. Super Mushroom, though. 2 big hits, 1 big hit there, 1 more big hit. Nope, Super Mushroom gone away, but tied back up, 59 to 52. We would have, this would be crazy to have another of the lower ranks winning here in the second round. At three of 5 higher ranks, so 2 of the 4 lower ranks won last set, last round that is. And so far 2 of the 4 this time around, with Ness having a great shot at doing it himself. But Sora obviously remaining right in this one, and he's going to be in it to the bitter end at this point. As it's your second stock over 100%, yes, you will not be able to rest easy until you've defeated him. He just pulled a Super Mushroom. 101, 111 on Sora. 109 on Ness. Ness with the Super Mushroom help is going to get that elimination. 1. Okay. Yeah, we're 1-1. Sora comes back, easily gets the knockout, then tie it right back up. All comes down to this. Oh, this Poison Mushroom on Ness almost eliminates him. And, oh no! Oh no! He completely flubs the PK Thunder Rocket, as always seems to happen. When I was wondering, he just came back to normal size from the poison. I was hoping that meant that his AI would not mess it up, but it did anyway. And it shoots him into the side of the stage. And then the next, somehow he's able to PK Thunder again. It doesn't do anything at all. That's too bad, Ness. That's too bad. You hate to see it end that way, of course, but that is part of the whole thing. I'm starting to wonder, that's if it comes to AI plus mushrooms, I would say the worst AI is Ness / Lucas, because they just cannot deal with the mushrooms. It's impossible. So Ness is going to go down. That is going to be Sora moving on. The first favorite finally goes up, and that's going to be a really strong 15-5 record for a number 2 rank. So he's looking good at being one of the top ranks in the league going into that. But there's one, at least, that may be better, and he's coming up next. It's Ganondorf taking on Palutena, who again lacks yellow skins, and so we're just going to use this for this tertiary. It seems like it might work as well as any other one would have. So, all right. What can you do, Palutena, 9 and 11? You were the only 9 and 11 to move on to this point. 3 of 4 made playoffs. She's the only one who passed through round 1. And she's in fact the lowest of the 9 and 11s who made it in, rank 13. So she would be pretty much the bottom of the league playoffs if she were somehow to win, almost getting a supersized knockout on Ganondorf there. 73 on Ganondorf, 53, 71 now on Palutena. Ganondorf brings it right back to even, which means he's pretty much still in the lead. He has the advantage. 93 on Ganondorf now after that nice attack, but at 71, Palutena easily launchable. Nice counter by Palutena. She is pulling out all the stops right here against Ganondorf. This is do or die, obviously. For everybody it is. There's a single round elimination. You can't afford to mess around there, Ganondorf. He's not coming back to the stage. Not from that. His recovery is definitely where he lacks. It's as good as like Marth's, which is not good at all. but it's good enough to get him back most of the time, and he's also big. And Palutena trying to do some edge things. She does. Are you kidding me right now? Palutena is about to take down one of the strongest fighters in the entire league. Like no big deal right now. 96% on her first stock. This is crazy. Ganondorf wanted to do edge shenanigans, so he paid for it dearly there. Dearly. It was, we were just mentioning how bad his recovery is, and he does it again. We have a flawless victory for the 13th ranked Palutena over number 1 Ganondorf to end the division playoffs here for the blue. What in the world just happened? Ganondorf, what in the world just happened? He still has yet to win a playoff match. He got here 11-9 in the green last season. He was able to make it even though he moved to the blue. He lost to Rob. So, like an annoying defeat there. Man, this is so much worse than that, though. You were number 1, 16-4. No doubt about that place. You're above everybody else. There's barely any other 16-4s in the whole league, mind you. There's him. There's Incineroar. There's the 18-2 Bowser. There's 2 16-4s as well in the green with Bowser, Kazuya, and DDD. And there's then Byleth and Donkey Kong in the red at the top. That is all of the 16-4s. There's 6 of them plus the 18-2 Bowser above them. And Ganondorf just lost, just like that. Incredible. Incredible. Palutena. Wow. She's going to have to continue this kind of crazy win streak against opponents that are much, much better than her, or at least record-wise much better than her. But again, she just continues to do it. Let's see how much farther she can go. She's now taken down a number 4 and number 1. That's ridiculous. Let's see where these guys have ended up. Now I will mention briefly here before we get into it. If you do want to end now, if you don't want to be spoiled about what's happened in the red and the green divisions, I guess don't watch any further, because we're going to talk about how the blue here stacked up with the red and the green. And so, but if you don't want to see that and you are going to end here, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, which is going to be that yellow division. Last divisional rounds of playoffs before we get into the league playoffs for Friday and Saturday to end it all. Again, we had Palutena winning here, Sora, Roy, and Captain Falcon. That's your 4 from the blue. Well done, everybody. I can't believe it. 3 upsets plus Sora, who lost to Ness the first time around, winning this one. Incredible. Incredible. Let us see now where everyone has ended up. Like and subscribe if you're leaving, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, again, just to reiterate, Palutena taking down Banjo, Snake over Inkling, Captain Falcon beating Wario, Roy taking down Meta Knight, and Ness over Cloud. Led us to then Captain Falcon over Snake, Roy defeating Steve, Sora over Ness, and Palutena. Huge upset. Huge. The biggest of upsets over Ganondorf. In fact, I don't think there could be a bigger upset anymore. I mean, I guess there could be an equally big upset if someone takes down Incineroar in the yellow, but that's the only other thing that could happen. And I mean, really. Also, again, huge round of applause. Not just Palutena being in 9-11 and somehow in the league playoffs here, but she's actually the only one that's under 500. And also the only one that's in the moving middle so far that's moved on to the league playoffs. So, again, just crazy. So we take a look, then we have the number 2 Sora, 15-5. He's going to be obviously the top of these guys going into the league. Then number 6, 14-6, Captain Falcon. Number 7 right behind him, both 12-8, is Roy. And then finally, of course, ranked 13, Palutena, 9-11. And so how do they stack up? Well, we had, coming into today, the green division pretty much dominating. Their top 4 was dominating the 8 that had been in so far. Donkey Kong right in the middle of them. Bowser, Kazuya, DK, DDD, and then Gunner is how it went. DK not winning. Kazuya won the extra tiebreaker with him and DK both being ranked 2 at 16-4 and ranked 2. And then, of course, DK being ranked 2, DDD being 3. breaks the tie between them at least. So DK is at least able to get there, but we have the 3 16-4s. Sora, rank 2, 15-5, does break up the green division a little more, dropping the gunner down just 1 rank. He's also 15-5, but he was number 4 in that division. Tough division. In fact, number 1, 2, 3, and 4 there, you can see, are the ones that moved on in the green. So it's going to make it even tougher for everybody else that is what happened. You can see the red did not fare that well, pretty much just as well as the blue did, with their number 2s being the best, and then a rank 5, 6, and 8 for the red, but then even worse, 6, 7, and 13 for the blue. So that's another reason that the green is dominating the top so far, with only 4 left to make it in to the league playoffs, the 4 yellow division fighters. And so after we have that Sora rank 2, 15-5, Gunner rank 4, 15-5, and in the league playoffs, of course, currently rank 6, me Gunner. Then we have out of 12 at the moment, and we have Pyra. It's going to be that 14-6, and she's rank 5 in the division, so that does beat out Captain Falcon. Doesn't quite make it any higher than that. Rank 6, 14-6. We got the 12 and 8s. Hero rank 6. Roy rank 7, so Hero beats him out with that. And then we have Simon, who is not the last anymore, rank 8, 10, and 10. And not because we have the rank 13, 9, and 11 Palutena. And now, just because we're in spoiler mode anyway, and we only have 1 set left to go, the only one I should say, who could go below Palutena is the Ice Climbers. If the Ice Climbers go 9 and 11, they are 9 and 11. If they somehow win as well and make it in, they're also rank 13, 9 and 11. That's what matters. So they same rank or same record, then the same rank for the tiebreaker, first tiebreaker, and then it would move on to who has held the better rank. In this case, 13 or better for longer. And that might not work out well in Palutena's favor. Not that it matters, it would just mean she's the lowest seed under Ice Climbers. And that's really only if Ice Climbers wins. That's the only fighter who could go below her. So really, she's probably just going to be last place. She's just going to have to go into this expecting she's going to be up against Bowser. She just took down Ganondorf. Can she take Bowser down next? It does not. Like I said, it's not going to get any easier. You made it. That's amazing. But you're ranked 13. You're 9 and 11. It's not going to get any easier. It only gets harder. But, actually, I take it back. This is as hard as it gets. Now it's your hardest match. If you can take down Bowser, you can do anything, right? At that point, you've taken on the hardest fighter. And it's almost easy street at that point, because you're going to get some easier matchups because you took down number 1 and you kind of took their spot, and they would have had the easiest sort of matchups the whole way through the playoffs. So if you take that spot, then those are your easiest matches through the rest of the playoffs. So we'll see if she can do it. Bowser, Kazuya, DK, DDD, Sora, Gunner, Pyra, and Mithra, Captain Falcon, Hero, Roy, Simon, and Palutena. That is our 12 right now, with 4 left to be added. In our matchups coming up there, it's going to be Min versus the Ice Climbers, Olimar taking on Joker, Sephiroth versus Game & Watch, Robin versus Richter, and Isabel versus Ike. And then our buys there in the yellow, Incineroar, Me Sword Fighter, and Ridley. 4 more make it. Who do you think it'll be? Like, subscribe, comment, let me know. Who do you think is going to win the first round of matches? Who do you think is going to win the whole thing? Until next time, guys, we have 3 days left. Yellow Division playoffs, and then 2 days of the league playoffs. And that's that for Season 1. Thanks for joining me, Randy with Nerds Templar, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate AI League. Peace out.